Whoa, I'm puffing hard now. This hill's quite steep. Got the Jinx coming down to see me from Jinxville, or wherever it is he lives. It's been a nice calm day today, and it's now blowing a hooligan. The clouds are rolling in over the tops of the tours. We're about halfway up this one. He's fine chaps driving 100 miles to camp on top of this tour, which is about 1.5 miles from my house as a crow flies. So I look at this tour every single day. I can see it from my house, see it as I walk to work, see it at work. Most people go up the other side of this tour, which to be fair is prettier than this side, although the view's probably not as great. Debatable. But it is a lot less steep than this side, a lot less steep, but got to keep fit, I suppose. Starting to get a bit dimpsy now, so whether I'll be able to film much when I'm at the top, whether this will even come out, I do not know, but we'll find out. So onwards and upwards. Well, made it to the top, and I'm in the mist and the clouds. The actual tour is there. Behind me over there is a barrow. It's actually a big flat top tour, this one. Loads of camping space. It's actually quite windy at the moment. We'll try and find a spot just in behind the tour. Oh, just in behind the tour here a little bit. See if we can't get a bit of shelter. It's not a particularly pretty tour. It's quite small, as you can see. There is a little bit of archaeology up here in their respective barrows. Bronze Age burials. Oh mother, that was some climb, that was. You've been working all day. Sorry for the Jinx, he works in an office. Works in an office, looks at his computer, says, I think I'll go up there today, this evening. I'll give my old mucker a call. See if he wants to come too. He knows I'm stupid enough to say yes. Oh, a bit stonier down that end. I don't suppose this camera's picking that up, but a bit stonier. I expect there's going to be a fair bit of wind noise with this too. I have no idea what the weather's going to be tomorrow. As the Jinx is here, and as this was white on Tuesday with snow, I can imagine it'll be hooligan force winds, blizzard conditions, and yeah, lovely. Right, if I see of anything of interest, I shall bring you back as the rest again this evening. Otherwise, I shall knock this on the head and bring you all back tomorrow, when we intend to do 1, 2, 3, at least 3 tours, possibly 4, depending on how much energy we've got and what kind of night's sleep we have. Oh mother, give me a break. Right, out of the dirty. Well, morning time. I'm here with the Jinx. There he is. That's the setup we had last night. 2 echoes and a dog. Because we had yellow warning of wind, and that certainly produced.
Like to do what I can.
As you can see, visibility is yeah, it's typical Jinx weather, and he's telling me that it's going to rain, so we've got to get back down. Because that's the way it is. Right, catch you later. Right, that's us all packed up and on the move, off to Staple Tour. This was Cox's tour, big old flat round thing, a bit like Ant himself. So spent the night in the Atco tents, absolutely brilliant tents, perfect because you can only get one person in them, so I was safe from Ant in the night. And I'd just like to say thank you to my subscriber that gave me that Atco tent. I won't embarrass him by naming him, but Noel, you know who you are, so thank you very much. It's very good of you. So lovely. Yeah, we look at this ground we're walking over. Up, no, hello. Up and down, up and down. I'm not going to say anything on that. So yeah. Roost tour. Proper job. Right. Oh God, rain on it. Right. That was Roost Tour. Next stop, White Tour. Tour. It's fairly unusual on Dartmoor. I respect that. There's a hill fort on it. Lots of hill towards further down. This one. There's a stone wall. In places the stone wall is still 2 meters high. It's also one of the few places, or certainly on the western edge, one of the few places where they found Stone Age Neolithic things as well. So I think we're going to have a cup of tea here. Fancy a brew?
Get a brew on. Do it.
Yes, I do is the answer, but he hasn't learned that yet. He'll get there.
Try again.
Fancy a brew?
Yes, I do.
Can't get the staff.
Yeah, but that would do.
Over a long period of study on Dartmoor, I've noticed there are basically sort of 3 types of people. Now the fogies, they come up, they drive up onto the moor, they find a parking space with a nice view, they sit there and they eat their sandwiches, drink their coffee out of their flask. That's the fogies. They can be young and old, but that's the fogies. Then after that, you've got the ardent people that go out on the moors. There's 2 types of ardent people that go out on the moors. There's the weird beards, and I would class myself as a weird beard. Weird beards generally dress in green. They don't necessarily have to have a beard. They generally dress in green, use ex-military gear, and none of the fancy new gear. Then you have people like the Jinx. The Jinx is what I would describe as a Dayglow Derrick. Dayglow Derricks wear bright colours, have osprey backpacks, all the fancy cooking equipment, full raven trousers, expensive boots, North Face hats, or he probably will show you if he gets out of his pocket his full raven baseball cap.
That's a barber one, actually.
It's a barber one. Oh, alright, he hasn't got his full raven baseball cap today, he's got his barber one. So that is your Dayglow Derrick. So you've got people like me, old packs, and people like him with his fancy Osprey lightweight stuff. You'll also notice that I use a roll mat. He uses one of these here fancy pump-up sleeping mats. Now I can't be sleeping on one of they because I don't like the thought of anything coming down on me overnight. Especially when I'm with Anne.
Hey.
And he's made me laugh. That's a first. Right. So I can't be abiding. Not only that, but every time he rolls over, he makes a. He sounds like the bugle boy at Company B, and I'm not sure whether I should be standing to attention and saluting him or what. It's a hell of a noise when he rolls over in the night.
Squeaky mattress. Squeaky
mattress, yeah. And I would like to point out he does have his own tent. Right.
They've seen that already.
So yeah, we've got a cracking view. The mist is starting to go. Cracking view over the farmland below us. We're not going in that direction. We'll be going that way, which I ain't showing you because it's still misty. Right, catch you in a bit. you can see it clearly, but that's the town I live in. So I've gone from a nice warm bed over there to a damn good night's sleep actually up there. We've walked all the way around there, up Rouge Tor, which you can't quite see. It might just come out in the mist. And then we've just done White Tor. And if any of this comes out in the sound, I shall be very surprised. Sensible ponies in out of the rain and the wind. They obviously heard the Jinx was coming up. Anyway, that's Bolter's Tor. Our next tour will be Little Coombe Tor, Great Coombe Tor. Oh, do you know what I'd like to do? I'd like to bring world leaders, business leaders, people in charge of building all the rubbish that they build and polluting. I'd like to bring them to a place like this and just say, you know, if we looked after the land and the water would look after us. But instead, people like you and me, we're allowing these people to get away with it, and it makes me mad. It makes me mad. Just look at this view. You can't keep allowing them to do it. There's so much to see around here, so many waterfalls. I haven't been able to take film of all the waterfalls and all the white water areas and the moss and the falling over and the hard going. But it's just a fantastic little piece of woodland. Fantastic. I haven't got words. I haven't got words. Ant just said he expects to see fairies at any minute, but I didn't bring a mirror. Right, should we make a move?
Wish I was up in Vancouver at the Cannabis Cafe, smoking good old Sensimilla at the beginning of the day. But here I am in New York City, hiding out in Central Park, getting kidnapped by the police today sometime before dark. But I wish I was up in Vancouver at the Cannabis Cafe, smoking good old Sensimilla at the beginning of the day. The judge looked down upon me and frowned. He said, "Kid, get on your way. Just don't start out your morning with espresso and a J." I said, I wish I was up in Vancouver at the Cannabis Cafe, smoking good old Sensimilla
that's the downhill whitewater assault course section finished. Now it's uphill for quite a way, quite a long way. Next time you see me I shall be red faced, though it might be the glow off his coat. I shall catch you in a minute. Coombs Head Tour. Coombs Head Tour. Now there's a legend about Coombs Head Tour. It involves a couple of monks from Plympton Abbey on their way to Tavistock Abbey. Now Plympton Abbey's so far south they wear hula skirts, and they got to come across the easy part of the moors, really, South Moors, to get to Tavistock. Anyway, these two monks stopped off at a pub in a village called Meavy. Hang on, let's clean it, because although you don't want to see it, I've got a face my mother doesn't love, but there we go. Right, so they stopped off in a pub in a place called Meavy, and they had a few ales and feeling a little bit tipsicated, carried on their way to Tavistock Abbey. Now on their way to Tavistock Abbey they had to go through the village of Sandford Spiney. Sandford Spiney had a parson, and the parson asked them in for a drink. Well, it would have been rude not to. Asked them in for a drink. So they sat there and they drank something called metheglin. Metheglin, something that was drunk in the western part of Devon and Cornwall and Wales as well, I believe. I don't think anybody's making it anymore, but I've got a recipe if anyone wants to go into business. Anyway, they was there drinking their metheglin, decided they'd better get on. So they started up on their horses again, riding out across the moors. And they were so drunk, they were so drunk. Anyway, the older of the two monks, he almost fell off his horse. Now as he almost fell off his horse, he shouted really loud, scared the horse devilly. So, horse bolted, leaving the young monk behind, and the old monk and his horse bolted out across the moors, and they went out deep into the moors, deep into the high moors, right on places you don't really want to go. And they carried on, and they went on and on and on, and then suddenly the horse stumbled, and the old monk, being drunk as well, fell off his horse. Anyway, horse bolted off and left him there. So he got up and he started walking, and he was walking, he got caught in a bog, and got himself out of the bog somehow. And he come along some rocks, and he banged his leg against a rock. Time to clean eat. There you go. And he banged his leg against a rock. What he'd done is he banged his leg against a rock around here, and around here, and he let out such a yelp. As he's let out a yelp, a chap from here shouted. He said, "You're in a sorry state, my son. Come and join me for my meagre rations, and we'll sit and chat for a while." So the old monk, being hungry and thirsty and wet and miserable, he come along and he sat down over there. Look at that. The chap I'm about to talk about is right up there as well. Look. There's the old monk. Anyway, so he went and sat down underneath that rock over there with the chap. And this big fella, he's a big fella with big moustache and a tricorn beard. So he was a weird beard. Anyway, he was sat there and he said, "Have a drink from my flask." And the old monkey had a drink from the flask. And he had another drink and another drink. He said, "I tell you what, boy, this there flask is never ending. It's It's lovely stuff. And the other chap said, well, he said, carry on drinking. He said, I've got a small meal here. He said, I'm willing to share with you. And he put it in his bag and he pulled out this massive pasty. Biggest pasty you ever did see. Massive, great thing. So he gave a corner to the monk, and the monk ate that. Then he had the middle bit, then he had the end of it. The monk was starting to feel a little bit better now. And he said, look, he said, I'm going to have to go. He said, I'm going to have to get myself back to Tavistock Abbey. They're looking for me and I'm feeling guilty at having been drunk and all sorts. And the chap said, well, I'll show you how to get back to Tavistock Abbey. So the old monk said, well, how are you going to do that? And with that, this chap picked up the old monk and he carried him across the moors. There's a bit of moors still up there yet, fair bit in fact. And he carried him back up and he come to his horse. And he chucked him on top of his horse and he gave him a slap and the horse bolted. And the old monk shouted back, he said, by the way, what's your name? And the big fella shouted back, Nicholas. He said, my name's Nicholas. Call me Old Nick. The monk had been sat up here with him. That's a true story. Well, it might be. Right, well, this is nearly there now. So, I'm going to call this video to a halt, because I think it's probably a load of enough rubbish yapped about and looked at. So I'm going to say goodbye, and Derek the Jinx here is going to say whatever he feels like.
Farewell, see you again in the rain.
See you again in the rain.